Okay, we're going. Okay, I've got my list here.
Checking your notes, bud?
Checking my notes. I don't know. So yeah, I got this Basset Hound. He is 12, which is ancient for a Basset Hound. He's got diabetes. He's losing control of bladder and bowel in the house. And when it first started going, I remember I was coming into the house in a hurry to let him out and didn't see that he'd already peed. And fucking slipped in it. My left leg went back under me and tore most of my quadricep muscle away from my thigh.
Beautiful.
But it gets worse. So recently it's 6 a.m. I'm like just waking up. I got to pee. So I'm going through the hallway and trying to get to the bathroom. I slip in yet another puddle of his piss and just naked, lying in piss, barely awake at 6 a.m. And I got to tell you, I love that dog to death. He's like my heart. But for just a split second, I thought about taking his head off with a chainsaw. just briefly.
Just a brief, or just missing a shot, you know? Just missing a couple insulin shots. You don't even have to break out the chainsaw.
God. Yeah, just building a gun like the Shinzo Abe assassin. An old yellering his ass in the backyard. All right, let's get started.
The Mystery Hole.
Welcome to the Mystery Hole podcast.
The Mystery Hole.
I'm Lane Blevins. Joining me for this episode and many to come is my brother, Nathan Blevins. Nathan, say hello.
Hello there.
And our good friend, Vivian Bowling. Vivian, say hi.
Hi, my name is Vivian.
A sitcom-y mommy.
That did not sound very convincing.
I am the sitcom mommy of the show. That's the whole thing.
So we're doing a podcast. Is it a midlife crisis?
Yes.
It has to be, right?
Yes. I was going to say, why are we doing a podcast? Because we are white people in our 30s.
I just turned 40, bud. 40.
Ooh, the big 4-0.
So it truly is a midlife crisis.
And we're also doing a podcast because we all listen to a shit ton of podcasts.
That is true. Ooh, what is that noise?
April's back on her wheel. My dog's back on her giant
The wheel that powers the house.
Yeah.
Like a rat. What were the?
Are we moving right now? Is this a train?
What was? What's the name of that terrier that we looked up that time? A spit roasting terrier.
The spit roasted terrier.
That's
We
not
need to
real.
delete this.
That's not real. Is that
No,
real?
turnspit dog. The thing that he's looking for is the turnspit dog, which was an actual thing in like Britain in the. I'm gonna mumble the. I'm like the turn century. So now nobody can tell me that I'm wrong. But like they would have. So back in the day, if you had to turn a spit, like in a kitchen, right? That wasn't automatic. It wasn't automated. You had to manually, somebody had to sit there and crank the spit all day while you slow roasted meat. So the way that they solved this problem in some parts of Europe back in the day was they had a dog and a wheel, and they would put like a piece of cheese or whatever it is that dogs eat hanging in front of it on like a line.
A piece of
and it would turn the wheel, and this contraption would be attached to the spit, and it would turn the meat on the spit.
I've seen a diagram of this in my travels on the internet.
So I think we should bring that back, is what I'm getting at.
Okay. Why? What is this podcast about? I'm sure the one or two people listening might want to know. In short, it's going to be sort of a very irreverent, and I mean, it's a comedy podcast, ostensibly.
Just tell a joke, quick.
It's a mystery podcast.
It is. It'll be sort of a very undisciplined, irreverent glance into various mysteries, internet curios. We might do an episode on, say, a lake monster or a computer ghost.
Those are the only two things you can come up with.
It's a three-parter. It's a three-part podcast.
Or a fluke mod. I'm just naming it X-Files episodes. But, you know, it's going to be loosey-goosey.
That'd be a good podcast. Just go through all the X-Files episodes and treat it as though it was a real thing that happened.
We're exploring each issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, we started the thing. We bought all this fucking equipment. So...
We have to do it now.
Well, yeah, whoever's listening, so go ahead and give us six-figure salaries each, please.
Yeah. And if you want to do a podcast yourself, that you've just straight out of the gate, buy a bunch of expensive equipment, and then you have to do it.
You have to.
Yeah. And if you are a company, if a company is listening to this and you sell stationery or horses or really anything, we would be very happy to advertise for you. I personally have no ethics or morals at all. I don't know about these two.
Oh, no. Those went out the window.
Yeah.
I'll only sell dead horses, though. I want to sell horse flesh.
Just the flesh.
Yeah. Yeah, so the name of the podcast is The Mystery Hole. And what that means is that each episode, after we've chit-chatted a little bit, we will approach the mystery hole and peer inside.
And we will don our crampons and lantern hats.
Pith helmet. Is that what those are called?
Could be.
I have literally never heard
Miner's
that term.
light. Pith helmet. Pith helmet is like the thing that jungle explorers wear.
Oh, nice.
I think. Don't listen.
What else y'all got going on? What's been going on with you, Viv?
Well, I work at a casino every day of my life, and so that is a whole situation. Yeah, so I have an interesting job, and it occupies every free second of my time. I can't think about anything else. I have nightmares about seeing being told that I'm dealing a new game called Schmanoiganen, that the cards look different, that I've never seen them before, and they have like pictures of cats and the moon on them, and I don't. And I'm being fussed at by an all-seeing eye in the sky. Shouldn't have smoked before we did this.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So I like my coworkers. I like the money that comes from this job. I can give or take gamblers as a class of person. There's one guy who comes to my job who was just recently unbanned from my job, because he was banned for leaving his dog in a hot car all day in the parking lot.
Jesus.
And he was really happy about his return. He showed up like we were all old friends.
He's like, don't worry about the dog. I killed it.
Yeah.
So I don't have to leave it in the car anymore.
He assured us, he was like...
30 days is a quick turnaround to not become that kind of person.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's also got a new dog. So that's cool. I don't know that for a fact.
Where is it? It's in the car right now.
He assured us. He was like, well, they're going to get my stuff straightened out. My card should be working soon. They told me that it would be turned back on today at some point. So literally he waited 31 days and came back immediately. The whole time I'm standing there just thinking under my breath, how's that dog doing?
How the dog?
Because the part of the story nobody ever told me is whether the dog was alive or dead. And I feel like if it was alive, I don't know that he gets banned, right? So,
well, you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
It's over now, but you can get back to the table.
This is kind of becoming a dog murder podcast. And that's cool. That's cool. But I don't know that it's like what we're going for.
It's true. We're going for the mysteries.
Yeah.
You brought up something I'm curious. Are we getting stoned for this? Are you getting stoned? I know Viv runs on the 3 humors for her, which is 0 sugar soda, Monster Energy, and weed juice. What about? I don't think I can do it. I think I get too weird.
I'm gonna try.
You're gonna give it the old college try.
Yeah,
to
I'm
get
gonna try one or
Blaze
two
for the podcast.
Yeah.
What's going on with you, Nat?
Not a lot. I spend my time. I've got 2 kids.
Yeah, you raise young minds.
I'm raising the minds of the day.
How you think you're doing with that?
Oh, too soon to tell. That won't shake out and for another 10 or 15 years.
You can't call the game till the 7th inning, as they say. If people don't say that, don't email me.
Don't add us. And when they are with their mom, I just sit at a little table in my bedroom and paint miniatures.
Hell yeah, bud.
And that's about all I do.
You're getting good at that.
I'm leading a calm and quiet life.
Well, are you all ready to approach the hole?
Yes.
Let's
do some spelunking.
I'm a little nervous, actually. Do you have any advice?
I've heard if you sort of press gently on the rim of the hole,
It'll just ease open.
it'll ease open, and there will be like deeper secrets.
That's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to mine those.
That's where you get to the deep lore.
Deep lore of the mystery hole.
You look concerned.
I'm a little nervous. I've never done this before.
Be gentle.
Okay. So for our inaugural episode, I thought who better to check in with than the king, the absolute Chad of all mystery guys, which is Bigfoot. So, and I thought maybe to give it a little bit of local flair for our little corner of the world here in East Tennessee, we discuss the Woodbooger.
The Woodbooger.
Who?
That's our local Sasquatch, bud.
Okay.
I had
alright.
no idea.
Yeah.
When you say local,
Well, you bring up an interesting point.
It's
Because-
two streets down.
he's my neighbor, actually. Yeah.
So Woodbooger, first of all, it's hard to research because I'll get to that in a second, but it seems like the true, as far as Woodbooger concerned, is sightings around the Norton, Virginia, Saltville, Virginia area.
Saltville.
Yeah, that all sounds about right.
I mean, how can you tell a Woodbooger from one of the locals up there?
How does one tell a Woodbooger from a Bigfoot? Is there a...
So I think the local Bigfoot to the sort of mountain empire, sort of between like Roanoke down to Knoxville, I'm attributing all those sightings to the Woodbooger. And
If he's not here all the time, he's our guy, is what you're getting at.
yeah,
He's our guy, yeah. You start getting up into Northern Virginia, and there's they're territorial.
Yeah.
I imagine like there's a line through the woods.
I'm gonna need you to be
Bigfoot
really-
comes up to it, like, whoa, this is Woodbooger territory.
Okay,
There's trade
Sasquatch.
disputes. It can be a real mess up there.
What do you think Big Feet trade?
Big socks,
Skins, various bug shells,
twigs, very
Tapes.
cool sticks.
So I don't know if there are purists out there who are like, no, the Woodbooger is specific to Saltville, Virginia. Well, I mean, get a life.
Yeah,
Just get a life.
that's Russell County to Smith County, and no further.
And the reason why, like, searching for the Woodbooger in particular, like that key phrase, the algorithms are sort of clouded because every fucking article is about the Norton Woodbooger Festival.
This is okay. Shut up,
Dude,
shut up. Shut the
there's
fuck
a
up.
festival. I'm going.
Okay,
I'm going.
pause.
I would 100% go to that. I'm up around Coburn, Norton Wise a lot. And that would be super fun. Sitting here, I'm on the Woodbooger. I'm on NortonVirginia.gov's website for their Woodbooger Festival.
All right. So
NortonVirginia.org/Woodbooger.
let's. I think you all are blowing right past this like it's a normal thing. Is the festival? Does like Woodbooger come to the festival? Is he the guest of honor?
Some years he doesn't show. And
Oh, yeah?
yeah. A lot of disappointed festival goers.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, on Norton's website description, the Woodbooger Festival is an annual fall festival held in Norton's Flag Rock Recreation Area. The festival celebrates the Woodbooger, a mythical Bigfoot-like creature rumored to roam Flag Rock Recreation Area and Southwest Virginia.
I don't like the use of the word mythical. I think that's not nice.
Because it's real.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
The Woodbooger's out there.
Yeah. And I mean, who gives a shit about Norton? You know what I mean? Like,
We just lost all our Norton listeners.
Oh, damn. Due to COVID-19, the 2020 Woodbooger Festival has been canceled.
2022?
2020. so they haven't updated them.
So it's
I
really
don't know
important.
about 21 or 22.
Did the Woodbooger get COVID?
The Woodbooger passed, so that's why it hasn't been updated.
Died from COVID.
We apologize.
I mean, did you see that guy's Facebook posts? He had some things to say about masks and shit.
Yeah, the Woodbooger. Yeah.
Yeah, the Woodbooger was a staunch anti-vaxxer.
God, when will COVID stop taking everything from us?
It took the Woodbooger. That's incredible.
So this festival, no doubt, cropped up from sightings.
Yes, and I was
Wayne's
able
like,
to
strangely, no.
I was able to find sort of a catch-all article that does kind of zero in on Southwest Virginia. Before I get to that, interestingly too, let me tell you my next dining destination, which is the Woodbooger Grill in Norton, Virginia.
How do you like your Woodbooger?
Preferably not with boogers or wood. I'm sitting here looking at the menu, y'all.
Yeah, what you got? What you got?
What do you got for appetizers? Let's start with the apps.
The apps?
Yeah.
Oh, they got apps.
Please be themed. All of the food needs to be themed around the Woodbooger.
It doesn't appear to be.
It's got to be the stuff Woodbooger eats. Which raises a whole different question.
An
I'm
onion
sure.
bloom. Oh my God! They got they got an onion bloom. $7. A breaded
yes.
colossal onion, deep fried, served with the boom boom sauce.
Woodbooger's
That's pretty cheap.
Woodbooger is actually originally Australian.
Well, I got to tell you, they're looking to get sued by Australia.
The whole of Australia.
The country of Australia. Wait a second. Okay. Do you think,
as we know,
and we can make this an episode of the Mystery Hole if we need to. Do you think that the country of Australia owns Outback restaurants?
I think that the bloomin' onion is Australia's national food.
You know, it's funny. I was scrolling Facebook one day and was just in a mood and came across Top Chef Australia, like their official Facebook page, and they were like, there were all these, people commenting like, who's gonna win, this stuff, and so I get on there and I just go, hey, American here. I was just curious, who do you all think, which Australian chef does the best bloomin' onion? And they got so mad.
Like, we don't fucking eat bloomin' onions.
Dude, okay.
That was terrible Australian accent.
It's wonderful. I loved it. And I love you.
But that's
Australians
so funny.
hard.
They got mad. That's funny.
They got some bacon cheese fries, y'all, at the Woodbooger Grill. A Sasquatch portion of our Woody's homemade fries.
There's a theme right there.
Smothered in shredded cheese. But they do have some themed. They've got to have a burger, right? They got to have a Woodbooger.
You can't have fries and not have a burger.
They got coconut shrimp.
Okay, I'm gonna pass on that. I think I'm not getting the coconut shrimp.
Those are Appalachian River shrimp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dressed up crawdads is what that is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Crispy shrimp. Man, they got a fried bologna sandwich. Phew, I get down on that.
Oh, I love a fried bologna sandwich. Is this a food podcast?
It is now.
Can we? Yeah, I was gonna say we're kind of getting far.
Can we pause and go to Woodbooger Grill? It's just
The Woodbooger Super Woodburger. Here we go. $19.50.
That's okay. That's not what I expected. After
Two
that $7
8-ounce patty. Okay.
is it like a higher quality?
It's pretty intense. 2 8-ounce patties, fried green tomato, fried pickles, barbecue pork, bacon, American cheese, shredded cheese, and cheese sauce. Ask your server for the challenge details.
Oh, there's a challenge.
Dude, I could put that burger away. A 1 pound burger.
And the challenge is you have to eat it while sprinting through the woods being chased by a Woodbooger.
Yeah.
You have to eat it. Woodbooger will come in the restaurant. You have to eat it faster than the Woodbooger.
It's never been done. Never been done.
Never been timed. Because there's no such thing as a Woodbooger.
Okay. All right.
Hey,
you just
hey,
went there.
hey,
Shots
hey,
fired.
you're right,
Shots
you're right. Hey,
fired.
let's
We
pull
haven't
that
even
back.
heard the story.
Yeah,
It
you're
might be
absolutely.
good.
I don't have all the facts.
Yeah. You've never seen it.
I'm
Some people have. I
They've
think.
got proper entrees. Okay, I'll stop. They got, but they do have a 20-ounce Bigfoot porterhouse T-bone.
Lane's off the podcast. He's just planning his trip to the Woodbooger
Just
Grill.
different kinds of lasagna.
I
Here's 20
have
kinds of
driven-
lasagna. It's a lasagna show.
I have driven by that for work. I do remember seeing it.
Have you really?
Yeah. So let's peer around into Bigfoot in our area here. And first thing I wanted to bring to your all's attention is this article which is out of Appalachian Magazine from February 2020. Sasquatch in the Mountains, a tale older than America.
Oh, shit. Okay, I'm down.
On any given day in Southwest Virginia, a gray and turquoise-colored 20-plus-year-old van can be spotted cruising the back roads of Appalachia.
I believe that.
Do not get in that van.
Yeah, so far, all of this extremely scans. Yes.
The van sports a very eye-catching message on its side: Bigfoot hunter. End quote. Laughed at by some and the subject of intrigue by others, the apparent owner of the van isn't alone in the belief that not all of Appalachia's wildlife has been discovered. On more than one occasion, I've even had someone lean in toward me and whisper, "I believe there's something up in them mountains like that." Anytime the conversation went in the general direction of Sasquatch.
Does that happen to this guy often?
Though the weight of evidence for the existence of such a creature is a matter of personal opinion and perspective, in truth, the number of sightings and tales of such mysterious beasts beg, at the very least, an honest and fresh look. According to the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, that thing... I actually want to talk about the BFRO, as we call it.
The most trusted name in Bigfoot hunting. Yeah. I love him.
According to the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, a team that collects and investigates reported sightings of mysterious ape-like humanoid creatures, the term Sasquatch is an anglicized derivative of the word Sesquak, meaning wild man. Indian tribes across North America have a total of more than 60 different terms for the Sasquatch.
Damn, I didn't know I was going to be learning stuff tonight.
Yeah.
This is an education. This is a history podcast.
It is, yes, a history
first and
education
foremost.
podcast.
It's a linguist. It's a
Then food podcast.
It's a Woodbooger grill podcast.
It's a
It's a lasagna podcast. Which I'm into.
That's our first fresh new segment. Every podcast is checking in with the Woodbooger Grill, see what's going on there.
Yeah.
The organization goes on to state, quote, Bigfoot was a journalistic term generated in the middle of the last century during a rash of sightings in Northern California. The word has come to be recognized widely. Many different terms have been used by native peoples and later pioneers of North America, including skookums.
Skookums?
Who?
The skookums.
Oh, those are people.
What is that?
No,
You're going to have to edit this out because that's definitely going to be some kind of racism.
I was just thinking, I was like, why does that sound vaguely racist?
Yeah.
There's something about it. I don't like it.
The skookums.
We're gonna get a very misspelled email from a Woodbooger
Yeah, he's
complaining about our use of the word skookum. Because he can't
Many
spell
different
'cause he's a
terms have been used by native peoples and later pioneers of North America, including skookums and, quote, mountain devils. According to historians, human-like creatures we would refer to today as Bigfoot have been predominant throughout the cultures of the indigenous people of North America, and though they all had localized words for these creatures, the names often were a variation meaning wild man or hairy man. Tales of individuals spotting these passive and mysterious creatures were largely confined to the Pacific Northwest for centuries. Several Native American tribes from the region even passed along stories of, this is indigenous language, I'm going to completely butcher, Tsemequest.
Don't hurt yourself. What are we
Don't pull a muscle over there.
A local version of Bigfoot. Other names for these creatures included the Stiyaha or Quiquiyai, who were a nocturnal race. I mean, that's got to be across the board. Like, the only reason...
Huh?
Nocturnal. They got to be
Oh,
nocturnal.
Yeah.
Well, why there have been a lot of sightings.
It's got to be... That has to be why people have never seen them before.
That's got to be.
And why there's so many
We
sightings.
solved it first podcast. We solved the mystery of.
Yeah, it's definitely
we-
that and no other reason.
If we get to the root of the Bigfoot thing, we're talking about places like the Pacific Northwest. We're talking about Appalachia. It's like, yeah, there's some wild and hairy men walking around in those forests for sure, 100%. And at nighttime, you might mistake them for some kind of supernatural creature.
And yeah, and at night is when they take the crystal and become very aggressive.
Yeah.
They, I kind of on that thread, I remember reading or watching some program about how lots of Bigfoot sightings were assumed to be elder indigenous Americans of certain tribes who kind of do something similar to like a walkabout, where they'll go out sort of into the woods and live very rough and are often like adorn themselves in like,
Mud and twigs and stuff.
yeah. I feel like I read that at some point. I thought that
That's an interesting take. That's interesting to think about.
That is very interesting. And then so you've got the idea is that like these settler colonialist dipshits saw these people wandering around and we're just like, well, that's got to be a monster.
There's a French fur trapper has been lost in the woods, and he's like, help, and people run.
Let's see. Tales of large man-like beasts roaming the earth are not limited to the native peoples of the Pacific Northwest, however. Even the Bible references, quote, there were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, in Genesis 6:4.
That was on the other side of the world, though.
Yeah, that totally different place. And I feel like that line in the Bible is used to like pretty much any supernatural phenomenon you want to make bullshit up about. It's like, well, yeah, anything could be a giant if you think about it.
Yeah.
Closer to home in the Appalachian Mountains, numerous native peoples maintained a belief either in small fairies or a hidden humanoid race wandering the lush hillsides of America's eastern mountain range. Though for some, these stories may seem like merely nothing more than tall tales, in truth, there have been thousands of documented sightings of a mysterious, often black and hairy, standing upright on two legs, slinking through the mountains. I don't think I misread that. I think they forgot to print a noun in there. In truth, there have been thousands of documented sightings of a mysterious, often black and hairy. Yeah, they've.
Oh,
well, we've gotten to the heart of the mystery, folks. We've solved it.
Just bad journalism.
Yeah, it was all a typographical error.
While many would argue these are nothing more than a black bear sighting, if anything, there have been several reports which clearly are not. Most notable of these reports is a string of devil monkey sightings in
that's
Southwest.
sick.
That is sick.
But I love that. You have my attention now.
Yes.
When you were like talking about Bigfoot hunters, I was thinking just like this old crank and rolling my eyes in the back of my head. I want to go get a big net and look for devil monkeys.
So, yeah, most notable of these reports is a string of devil munkles sightings
My
in
devil
Southwest.
uncle was seen again wandering through the woods with a bottle of gin and a knife.
At the top of the many twilight tales to spring forth from the 1990s was a woman's claim to have spotted a mysterious black devil monkey in Roanoke, Virginia in 1994. According to multiple sources.
Wait, sorry, 1994?
Yeah.
I was expecting like 1894. Is it?
And that, in the many twilight tales to spring forth from the 1990s, that famous era in Bigfoot lore.
Yeah, a lot of activity in the night.
That time before cameras were invented.
Yeah.
I think there probably was a resurgence of interest in Bigfoot in 94 because of like Unsolved Mysteries and X-Files.
Because of grunge and the general decay of American morals.
According to multiple sources, an Ohio woman was driving through Roanoke around 2:30 a.m. when a construction detour sent her down a dark 2-lane country road. As she drove the wilderness terrain of Southwest Virginia, a creature that looked like a hybrid wolf monkey leaped in front of the car.
Now wolves
Wait, okay.
Now we've got wolves as part. Okay.
So do you brake and swerve or do you speed up and hit it?
I mean, a hybrid wolf monkey. Like, I would try to avoid a Sasquatch, but
okay?
I would absolutely floor it towards a wolf monkey.
Yeah.
Which, wolf monkey, I am associating definitely more of like a werewolf, for sure.
Yeah. Monkey, see, when you say monkey and not ape,
right?
I'm imagining
A
smaller.
small guy. It's a little guy with like a prehensile tail or
Yeah, a
something.
little
Yeah.
guy. Running
It's a
up
pack
and-
of cigarettes. And
running up and stealing your bottle of pop.
Yeah, exactly. You feel a tug on your pant leg and you look down and he's there.
With his little monkey wolf face.
Yeah.
But that's just somebody's let their pet monkey out, though.
No. Just the one chimpanzee that's loose in the Appalachian forest, creating a whole scene.
No regulations were in place for exotic pets at this point.
Yeah. The creature was all black with very short, sleek fur, pointy ears, and had a long, thin tail. Yeah, a tail. You never hear that about with Sasquatch.
This sounds less like a Sasquatch and more like this lady just saw a dog.
And was high or drunk.
Or just regular saw a dog.
Just a regular old dog.
Regular old dog in the road. She didn't hit the creature, did she?
Let's see. Let's find out. The creature was very tall because she saw it when it was standing on its hind legs, and it was easily 6 feet tall.
Okay, maybe that's not a dog.
I mean,
that's big.
6 feet tall. There are I'm pretty sure. Aren't there mountain lions around here? I'm not entirely sure.
I don't think they make a habit of walking across the road on their hind legs, though, dog.
Yeah.
Well, standing on its hind legs, I'm picturing like leaning towards a tree, reaching up to get a lovely bit of like beehive honey or something.
So that is a funny thing. This is kind of a funny aside. I looked this up once. We are not supposed to have mountain lions around here, according to like the organizations that monitor that stuff or whatever. Like if you look up the creature's range or what have you. I don't know the terms for any of this because I'm not a scientist. But I have seen one myself beside the interstate hanging out in a tree, and that is absolutely 100% not a joke.
It wasn't just a big old bobcat.
It must have been Woodbooger. I don't know. I mean, it looked like a fucking panther. It was dark. Okay, wait a second. Is this where we figure out that I've seen the devil monkey that's described in the story?
Are we having a sighting come out live
on the pod?
Yeah, no, we got to the bottom of the mystery hole and it was just me.
Yeah.
She indicated its torso looked very much like that of a very thin man.
So I hate to interrupt you, but this is the start of the Woodbooger.
Yeah, I think there's going to be other stories sort of in this article, and I've pulled some other resources together. Let's see. She indicated its torso looked very much like that of a very thin man, and its head resembled a man, almost with a pointy beard.
So is she sure she didn't see a man? Because the story is getting me confused a little bit.
I know. However, the creature's hind legs were like a wild cat or dog. It was very muscular and thin, writes one source. The woman later shared her story with U.S. Game and Wildlife officials, who insisted it must have been a feral dog or wolf. But the woman was emphatic that the creature she saw was neither of the two. A few weeks following the woman's ordeal, livestock in the area around the location where the alleged incident took place began disappearing.
Okay, like vanishing into thin air entirely?
Yep.
Damn.
I mean, because
you hear about like
the guy's got to eat.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, I'm saying like you hear about like the chupacabra, which is goat sucker.
Bleeding them
we get
dry.
there, but it's like you just find a goat with 2 holes in it. So like, is the Woodbooger vanishing animals?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you know you just didn't leave a gate open?
He's very whole animal. He's a very whole animal activist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why the burgers are so big.
No part of the animal goes unused.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a speculative line of thought. Is the Woodbooger grill serving the missing livestock? Because I'm trying to put the pieces. That's why I'm here. I'm a detective.
That's the Woodbooger. The Woodburger, excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Woodbooger. Yeah. He just he catches the meat for him.
Yeah, just catches the meat, gets they pay him by the pound.
Pay him in pine cones, which is big currency for those guys.
That's why the grill is making a killing.
Let's see.
If you work at the Woodbooger Grill and your restaurant is failing, I'm really sorry, and I know our jokes aren't funny, and this isn't funny to you.
But also contact the pod for...
if you want us
we'd love to have you on.
I'd like a bloomin' onion.
Bring a bloomin' onion.
God, a fucking bloomin' onion is good, though.
And it better be better than Australia's.
Let's see. So the livestock are disappearing. Granted, this seems like a bizarre story that could easily be attributed to midnight AM talk radio. Shouts out to Coast AM.
Yeah.
And
Art Bell.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Is Art Bell racist? Can we ever go there?
Oh shit, I don't know.
That I don't know about.
I've lost track of him. I haven't heard.
So
he could have been dead for all I knew.
I think he is dead. And if I'm not...
There's an episode.
I could be speaking entirely out of turn here, but here is my addition to this, which is that I was big into Coast to Coast AM. I would listen to it a lot. Art Bell stuck to the good shit, like this kind of shit, and his programming was always awesome. George Norrie was like his backup or something, and has now taken over the show. And George's episodes used to be the same, but very slowly I started hearing George Norrie kind of drifting into like Alex Jones type territory.
He's doing the QAnon grift.
Yeah, it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
And
He lost the InfoWars, is what you're saying.
There's so many
a
casualties.
veteran. I'm a veteran of the
You ask
Info
him, he's
Wars.
only lost the info battle, but the info war still rages on.
So that sucks. But Art was always he was all about that game. He was trying to get to the bottom of the
trying-
X-Files.
Yeah, he's trying to delve into that mystery hole.
Dude, the guests that would call in were so good. Just the
Yeah.
guy be like, I'm possessed by the devil.
Oh man.
And just try to speak to you as some ancient demon. God, amazing. Granted, this seems like a bizarre story that could easily be attributed to Midnight AM talk radio and a case of some bad gas station coffee. I don't know why that.
What does that even mean?
I didn't know coffee when it goes bad could make you hallucinate.
There's another. We're just making lists of episode concepts here, aren't we? What
Yeah, the
hell is
mysterious
that? Yeah.
the hallucinogenic coffee of late night Southwestern Virginia gas station.
Oh, let's make up our own mysteries.
However, it is interesting to note that a half century earlier, just down I-81 in Smith County, Saltville, Virginia, various individuals claimed to have spotted nearly the exact same creature. In 1959, a couple driving down a back road in Saltville, Virginia, reportedly had their car attacked by a large, powerful creature they claimed chased their vehicle and left deep scratches along the door.
Oh, okay, so the first one was in 94, and then they found
That
this other sighting happened in 59.
Right, we're back in. We've gone back to 1959 here.
Okay.
According to their account, an ape-like beast attacked their car, leaving 3 scratch marks on the vehicle. The couple's daughter described the terrifying attacker. Quote: "It had light taffy-colored hair, with a white with a white blaze down its neck and underbelly. It stood on 2 large, well-muscled back legs and had shorter front legs or arms." Man, our Woodbooger around here is weird.
Are we talking about a blonde Woodbooger?
Can't
He is
get a line on this
outside of the.
Woodbooger.
He's outside of the phenotype for sure. Yeah, I've seen a couple things that says that the Woodbooger is like.
I'm just imagining, like, just perfect blonde locks all over his body. Well groomed and beautiful.
It's
Toe-headed is the term that I think we use.
let's see, where were we? A handful of years later, an almost exact same claim was made in the Smith County, Virginia community when 2 nurses from the Saltville area were driving home from work one morning and were attacked by an unknown creature who reportedly ripped the convertible top from their car.
All right. I want to see receipts on that shit.
Let's get the auto body guy who fixed it.
Yeah. Let's find a mechanic and just be like, how strong would Woodbooger have to be to pull that sheet off?
I'm not doing any more research than I've done, which was 15 minutes. Luckily, the nurses, though surely frightened out of their wits, were unharmed. The mysterious monkey-wolf hybrid beast would come to be known as the devil monkey, and in the decades that followed, numerous alleged sightings of these animals were reported. In recent years, devil monkey sightings have waned, but from time to time, an occasional sighting of these mysterious creatures is quietly whispered about in corner barbershops or over an Appalachian campfire.
I've lived here my entire life.
Never
and
heard it.
I've never told a Woodbooger story.
At this table was the first time I'd ever heard the words devil and monkey put together.
This is like learning about, so like recently, we're turning this back into a food podcast now. Heard about this phenomenon of like chocolate gravy, where you put like cocoa powder in the gravy and you make the gravy sweet and then you put it on the biscuits or whatever. And apparently it's a thing that this is like now a thing that restaurants are serving in the U.S. and being like, oh, it's an Appalachian staple.
I had heard about it. The first time I had ever heard about it was like I think like a Low Country chef had done it.
So it's like a low country thing?
Or it might have. I always associate it with sort of deeper south.
I mean, it sounds
The gravy that our grandparents and shit ate around here was like literally, there was like no salt. It would just be like flour and milk
Yeah, it was like a depression.
and some butter. And
gravy is still a depression meal if you want it to be.
if you make enough of it, yes, it can be. Yeah.
so in terms of the the name Woodbooger, it comes from. Again, it was hard to find a lot of stuff about specifically Woodbooger, but it apparently, and I very much like this aspect of our local Bigfoot. But he was called that because he would carry off small children.
Oh boy, that's not good.
I'm still
A la the Boogeyman.
Oh, Boogie. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, it seems like the devil ape or devil monkey around here.
I feel like we have two different crypto.
Our guy he's like violent.
Yeah,
He's tearing the tops off of cars and kidnapping children.
Convertible tops will run you. Yeah.
This to me still sounds just a lot like people attributing redneck shenanigans to a guy who lives in the woods, which honestly makes total sense.
I think a lot of this shit is bears.
No, it's the Woodbooger.
Because that's another... Yeah, no, going back to the devil monkey that was standing on its hind legs, that's like a bear that comes out of hibernation, right? They're really thin.
Right.
Do you think that could have been a bear, like a black bear that just came out of hibernation? Because
Bears don't have tails.
Bears
don't have long, thin tails.
I'm going to need to see the receipts on that, because I don't know enough about bears to know that. Again, not a scientist, folks.
Couple of
Do your own research.
Yeah. Make up your own mind. So that's the thing I wonder that I do think it's important for us to say here on the Mystery Hole is that we don't know anything, and you should never trust us. So make up your own mind, because the at the bottom of the hole,
there's just more holes.
It just goes deeper.
The hole
forever.
is never ending.
Yeah, it just goes deeper forever, and you'll drive yourself insane if you try to find the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on to a couple other items about our local Big Feet. Earlier in that article, it mentioned the Bigfoot Field Research Organization. Which,
tell me about this.
So,
is this a local organization?
No, it's called the BFRO. Their website is bfro.net. And what's interesting about it is among other things, it has a database of sightings.
Oh, shit.
It's very cool. And so I was kind of looking around. I was looking at some of the counties around here. And this is...
Fuck is that?
What is that?
Water. It sounds like the water, like the toilet.
I think... Is it coming back there?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so that's going to be a problem.
What is it?
It's just whatever I don't know, house machines. There's a house machine.
There's a drill in my wall. It turns on. It's
one of those house machines.
Just one of the house machine that drives your house.
Yeah, it's a house machine that does something for the house. And occasionally it makes noise. I'm rarely
I
down
can't
here.
tell if you know how weird what you're saying is or not.
I don't know house machines. I know the toaster.
Okay. Yeah.
And the microwave.
The oven. That's one I remember.
That gets a little complicated for me, the oven.
Yeah.
So it's cool. The BFRO.net. It's got it broken down into regions, and I was kind of poking around at some.
Can we join?
There's no joining, but it's just out there.
I mean, I want to, can we be
You got to get out there. You got to do your own research.
That sucks. That sounds like work.
You got to hit the back trails of the appies and find a devil monkey.
It's really well organized. They've got it broken down by state and then by county.
I love big free databases like that.
Are there any sightings in Sullivan County?
There are. Y'all want to hear? I
don't want to go to Sullivan County because we're gonna fucking know somebody. It's gonna be like, one of our friends that was like never told us because
it's fucking
because we knew it wouldn't. Yeah. They knew it wouldn't fly.
Yeah. He'd be like, you just saw a regular dog.
Yeah. I'll give this to the professionals.
Let's see. In Sullivan County, they've got one from October 1993. It was a Class B sighting. We should.
Let's go.
I can't even. Okay, yeah.
Back up. Let's give me the class system.
All right, the classification system. Report classification systems. All reports posted in the BFRO's online database are assigned a classification: Class A, B, or C. The difference between the classifications relates to the potential for misinterpretation of what was observed or heard.
Class A is real. B through X, not real.
There has never been a Class A sighting. However, we keep the door open. As they say, we'll leave the light on for you.
Class A reports involve clear sightings in circumstances where misinterpretation or misidentification of other animals can be ruled out with greater confidence. For example, there are several footprint cases that are very well documented. These are considered Class A reports because misidentification of common animals can be confidently ruled out. Thus, the potential for misinterpretation is very low.
I do love to find a Bigfoot guy who's like about getting to the bottom of it and like wants to weed out the horse shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's one guy in particular that's on like every Bigfoot documentary who's like as serious a scientist as you can be as a cryptozoologist. And
is he accredited?
I was gonna ask about this organization. Yeah, I was like, okay, can we like, do they have papers? Can I?
I don't know about their bona fides. No, I mean it's like I think each report has a little bit about who's generated the report. Mm-hmm. Let me finish up the class. There's two more.
Go ahead. Yes.
Incidents were Class B. Incidents where a possible Sasquatch was observed at a distance or in poor lighting conditions, and incidents in any other circumstance that did not afford a clear view of the subject are considered Class B reports. Class C reports most secondhand reports and any third-hand reports or stories with untraceable sources are considered Class C because of the high potential for inaccuracy. Those reports are kept in the BFRO archives, but are very rarely listed publicly in this database. So they just kind of keep those on the back burner.
Yeah.
Got to put your best foot forward.
Yeah.
You biggest foot forward.
So one thing I did was I was poking around at the various regions for our local Bigfoot, and I thought we need to go to the true capital of East Tennessee. We got to go to Gatlinburg, folks.
That is the
hell yeah.
Yes, the unofficial capital of Tennessee.
If he's buried somewhere, it's there.
Yeah,
got to go to Gatlinburg.
to the G-Burg.
I'm gonna buy a samurai sword, funnel cake, see the Bigfoot.
Fanny Farkle's corn dog.
Oh God, dude, I love an Ogle's dog.
This is not a food podcast.
We just all really like food.
Okay, so, and I noticed, it's interesting. I was looking at all the counties, kind of around. I can't remember if it was statewide or kind of around, and like there was all like around us. There's like one report, two reports. And then Gatlinburg had 6.
Gatlinburg had 48 reports.
Which is a couple things going on there. One,
and it was during bike week.
You'll see bears running down the strip at Gatlinburg.
You will.
Bears are a big thing. I watched one tear a fridge to pieces one night when I was out there.
I love that story.
But also, people get fucking buck wild in Gatlinburg. A lot of people just get drunk.
It's a party town, Gatlinburg.
Yeah.
And,
I imagine everyone that listens to us will know what Gatlinburg is, but it's...
Who's to say if they didn't mistake their Uncle Kevin?
Would it be fair to say that, like, for people, maybe if this ever reaches further north, that Gatlinburg is like a landlocked Coney Island? With more of
I think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It's like Las Vegas for hillbillies.
Yeah.
It's a landlocked Myrtle Beach, and Myrtle Beach is a coastal Gatlinburg.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting. That's an anecdote that people who don't live here will not understand at all.
But the 3 people who actually listen to this podcast will all be from here, and they'll be like, yes, that is valid.
Yeah.
Coastal Gatlinburg.
So we got a Class A sighting straight out of it's a close encounter from a parked vehicle outside Gatlinburg.
Holy shit, Class A?
Class A encounter.
Class A.
Well, we can close the book on this one. It's definitely real.
Let's see, 1997, season is winter, month December. This happened on December the 17th, 1997, and here is the report. The reason I never told anyone was because I found it hard to believe myself, much less what other people would say or think about me. I recently began working at an army hospital and befriended someone who had a very near experience with what was considered a juvenile Sasquatch. A juvenile.
I'm sorry.
That's a bear. You've seen a bear.
A juvenile.
Well, hey, let's hear all the facts first, okay? God, we're like one sentence into this thing.
After 17 years, that night is still very vivid and etched in my mind. With the help of Google Earth Maps, I was able to find the exact spot that I had my encounter back in December of 97. It was just as I remembered and as I had described to my friend. First time I saw it again after all these years, the hair on my arms and neck stood on end and a cold chill ran through me. Amazing. After 17 years and never having told anyone, I experienced that night all over. It was December 17th, 1997. My friend had wanted to take me to this spot that she said looked spectacular under a full moon. We reached the spot that had a clearing of deforested area to the right with a 45-degree grade. The road was cut against the mountain edge, and it was a spectacular view with a fresh coating of snow that had fallen. The section of the road had a landing cut at the end of the curve, and we had backed up into the landing where we could see any oncoming traffic. We had been there approximately an hour, and the cab in my truck had gotten a little too cold, so I turned on the truck and put the heater vent on. My friend had noticed something in the road when the windshield defrosted. We were staring at a full-grown male boar that was rooting through the snow on the edge of the road.
Mystery solved.
Real quick.
I know where this is going.
Is it true that Gatlinburg's got Russian boars in their woods?
We have always talked about that.
That's like a persevering urban legend.
I don't know if that was just our family, and there was always like the axeman that kept them or whatever.
That was Tony Blevins' original, Russian boars in Gatlinburg.
Okay, we're going to need some detail here.
Russian boars.
Because this is definitely where...
Axeman.
Because there was an Axeman? I don't remember the Axeman.
Okay, guys, one mystery at a time, please.
Let's not.
Going a little too deep in the hole.
We're not going to be able to climb back out.
The Russian Axeman boar man. Please explain what you mean.
And
there are Russian wild boars at Great Smoky Mountains National Park.
There you go.
Okay.
And what weird thing that my kid brain...
every single article is missing the terms Axeman, though.
That was a little Tony Blevins add-on right there.
So please, guys, just like 2 minutes about what the hell you're talking about for
just
our audience.
Story,
it's actually very funny.
The story our dad told, that he would just be like, there are Russian boars around here, and they're trained by the Axeman of Smoky Mountains.
And we were children, so we'd be like, what? That's crazy. And one weird thing that my kid brain did was that the animals in Willow were always Russian boars in my head. I was like, when he would say Russian boars in Gatlinburg, I would imagine those little fucking dogs from Willow crawling all just...
As you know, I keep a very serious Willow collection.
Yes.
And by collecting those toys and by collecting the novelizations of the movie, I found out that those creatures are called death dogs.
Death dogs.
Death dogs.
And what were they in the movie? They were just dogs.
They were just dogs.
Regular old dogs?
Regular old dogs with...
masks and tails.
Masks and tails.
Maybe that's what was in the road in Appalachia.
Yeah, so they spot this boar. Where was I? My friend had noticed something in the road when the windshield defrosted. We were staring at a fully grown male boar that was rooting through the snow on the edge of the road. This thing was huge, and it made me regret not having my rifle or bow with me. It was I love hunters. Absolutely. This reminds me of that story that we work with this guy named Rick, and he told us a story about how he's like a bow hunter, and one day he was like driving through kind of where he was driving through where he lives, and he spots this deer, and it's like outside of bow hunting season, and he sees the deer kind of like dip its head down, so he pulls over and slyly gets out his bow, and he draws back.
Not a day of hunting. This is a day of going from point A.
I'm leaving the office. On my way home from the office, I have to stop because I saw a live animal.
A live animal breathing in my vicinity. I cannot abide it.
With the bow and arrows that I keep. Like I just carry. I'm just strapped all the time.
So he pulls out his bow and he fires a shot and gets a direct hit, and then suddenly gets swarmed by game wardens. And the deer was a robotic deer.
Mystery solved, I guess. Huh?
One mystery down.
One down. Yeah. Wow.
It was one of those chances of a lifetime, seeing something like that just 60 or 70 yards away. Suddenly it ran off. My friend and I were both wondering what could have made it run like that. I turned the truck off and we listened for any kind of noise that could have spooked him. We both talked a lot about what would have made it run away like that. Maybe 5 minutes had passed when she peered out of the windshield. My friend peered out of the windshield and pointed to the tree line and told me to look. She and I thought it was a black bear, and with the tree line in the background, it was hard to make out the shape. It wasn't until it was approximately at the same spot the boar was, and it was standing upright, that I had to really strain to see what I thought I was seeing. We were still downwind from the spot where it was standing, and had
Oh
not.
man, you don't want to be downwind of Woodbooger.
Downwind of Woodbooger.
That's the worst place to stand.
It absolutely is. I watched it for a good 5 minutes, and I tried to tell myself that everything in my mind was negating that it was not a black bear. First, black bears do not stand and rear up unless provoked or if they need the height to look at something in the distance. Second, it could have been looking at the boar, bud. That just ran off. Second, if it does stand up, it does not walk a good 20 to 25 yards on its hind legs the way that this did.
Walked right up to my window and knocked and asked for a Marlboro.
He says the creature was 8 to 8.5 feet tall. It stood there frozen as we. They spotlighted it, and it stood there frozen, trying to find out what was causing the light. It looked puzzled and tried to see between its fingers at my truck, but the lights must have really blinded it because it kept dodging its head back and forth to get a better look at us. We were at a stalemate. I was in disbelief at what I knew I was looking at.
It was like straight on in its beam, in the car's beam.
Yeah.
I like the idea it's trying to look through its fingers, so it really was like doing the peekaboo thing where it's covering its face with its hands and then peeking through them.
You know, it's
a man.
Although
these people just saw a regular man.
I don't know though, because to play devil monkey's advocate, I'm going. Their first thought was a black bear, like they weren't. You know what I'm saying?
No, clarify.
Well, I mean, like, you know, if it was a black bear, which is the running candidate for what it would be, wouldn't your mind snap to black bear if you're thinking black bear and it is a black bear?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're kind of getting at is the thing. I mean, if we're going to be blatantly honest here for a second, like, I don't believe this shit could be real. I want it to be.
There we go. He said it.
Really want it to.
I mean, any of it. I mean, there's just a lot of scientific reasons why it can't fucking happen.
You know what? Okay.
And
I want to do this every episode. We're gonna lay down right now. Probably not real. Now we're gonna move forward with every episode. Like this shit is real as fuck.
Yeah, we're starting with the premise that it's real, and then
I love this shit. But and let me clarify what I'm saying is that the things that give me pause sometimes are the things that really shouldn't. But when I there's certain eyewitnesses that maybe I'm just a bad judge of character. I'm like, why does this guy not seem like he's lying? Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Where I'll just be like completely hung up on the fact that they've been a hunter for like 30 years or whatever. So basically, this one's so lengthy, and I've got a couple other things I want to get to. But one thing that kind of caught my eye about this one that I thought was funny is that they leave.
Yeah, does anything happen after that? Just like, is that the crux of the encounter, and then it walks off and leaves?
Yeah, and then but he drives his date home. She got out without saying a word, not a glance back or nothing. I drove home and didn't sleep at all that night. The following day, I grabbed my 30-06, my 9mm, my hunting knife, some binoculars. Dude, I love a good lock and load scene.
Dude, lock and load montage like fucking Commando.
The Commando's the best one.
Commando's the best one.
It's the best one. It's the best fucking lock and load montage.
So yeah, here's some background on the guy telling the story. He's Texas bred and born man. I've hunted, fished, and camped all my life. I've taken down big game in Mexico, Texas, New Mexico, Tennessee, and Florida.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, we got it. Okay.
Just wave your dick around a little more, guy. I'm smart enough not to believe in Woodbooger, so.
Okay, so
you know, you know what? I feel like we're easing into our roles that we're going to take for the rest of the podcast. It's just the skeptic. And the
true believer,
just unabashed believer over here.
Yes, you have the gentle heart of a fool,
and I the wizened heart, cold mind of
a person with
faculties,
depression, and a customer service job.
Okay, a couple other things I want to touch on, which is we do have a sighting right here in Bristol. In Sullivan County.
Holy shit.
Oh, come on now.
And this article is a little bit more manageable. God, that one went on for fucking ever.
That was a long one.
This is by Bud Phillips. Does that name ring a bell to you all?
That name...
It was in the Bristol Herald Courier. He is like Bristol's... He died a few years ago. He is like Bristol's historian.
Oh, okay.
He's
that's
like,
probably where I know him.
So yeah, last article, I just wanted to touch base on the real deal local Sasquatch.
The most local to us.
And he's talking about this historic, like there was apparently, this kind of gets into sort of historical accounts. Yeah, so this article is by Bud Phillips, writing in the Bristol Herald Courier back in 2013. A Bigfoot sighted near Bristol began a reign of terror. It seems that all across America, there are areas that have tales of what might be called Bigfoot stories. Virtually all of them tell of a supersized giant resembling a human being. The detailed descriptions vary as to size and shape, but there are some things in common. Generally, it is told that the footprints are in the 18 to 20 inch range. Also, the gigantic body is usually covered in black or brown hair. This hair is usually said to be muddy or matted, and in most cases, there is a long, overwhelming, eye-burning stench that lingers long after the beast has passed.
That's a new detail.
That's pretty par for the course for Sasquatch, I feel like.
So downwind of Woodbooger.
I mean, they would smell like shit.
Yeah.
They would smell fucking awful.
Yeah, it's their feet.
It's
Because feet are stinky.
they got that foot fungus like my basset hound has. That's like smells like corn chips and death. I feel bad about saying I wanted to cut Barney's head off with a chainsaw earlier.
I don't. I feel
You're
like that
among
all
friends.
the time. No, I'm just kidding.
It was only for a split second. I love you, Barney.
Shout out to Barn if you're listening.
Barney.
Barney.
But you're just telling you're talking about your feelings to your brother and your best friend and a few thousand people who accidentally clicked a link to this while they were trying to do their taxes on the internet.
Let's see. Yeah, the stench. We were at the stench. Some say they have encountered the scent without encountering the sight and have fled. Most of these Bigfoot reports come from the Pacific Northwest, but there are other scattered stories coming from the other parts of the nation. In Virginia, I'm aware of reports that include Culpeper, Dinwiddie, Orange, Highland, Amherst, Bath, Prince William, Giles, and Wythe counties.
Hey, your voice is doing.
I thought those were new names for Sasquatches.
the fucking dude, beware the Dinwiddie.
Beware the Dinwiddie.
In the area of Tennessee near Bristol, there are claims made of such in Johnson, Greene, Hancock, and Hawkins counties. Some people dismiss these stories as figments of imagination. Some classify them with ghosts, but as
sorry,
dude,
what's the logic there?
The ghost Bigfoot is incredibly powerful.
The ghost, yeah, I don't.
Ghostfoot.
I feel like you have to have a soul to have a ghost, and I don't know if Bigfoot has a soul.
Damn.
Line in the sand.
I calls him like I sees him.
But as with the case of ghosts, there are many whose testimonies are hard to dismiss. The investigations go on and are sometimes headed by reputable and respectable college professors or other such gentlemen. I am neither defensive nor offensive. But as usual, I keep an open mind. I could not call myself educatable unless I did so.
So are you sure this guy is actually a writer?
He's a historian.
Okay.
He's a historian first. Purportedly, an event of this nature occurred in Washington County, Virginia. I had not been long in Bristol before I heard tales concerning this creature. Some old-timers called the creature a monster man. That's just unimaginative.
Yeah.
That's the worst Sasquatch name I've ever fucking heard.
Some kind of yay high monster man.
They call him Yay High for short.
And it comes with an arm gesture. But yay high.
Some old-timers called the creature a monster man, but to stay with the usual trend, we'll call him a Bigfoot. There is one major difference with this creature. He was about the standard size, 7 to 9 feet tall, had big footprints of 20 inches or more, and had the distinctive odor. Instead of being black or brown, this Bigfoot was said to have been either light gray or white. See? We're
changing color again.
That was the reason some people called him a ghost.
Maybe Bigfoot can change the color of his coat. Like that's a power he's got, like the Woodbooger.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, here we go. The one thing that you think is fucking unbelievable. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, sure. Fine, you're right. Put the fool's motley on me, sir.
That's the reason some people call him a ghost. That's a scarier Bigfoot, I think. like a
Like
white,
a
like a
ghost
white,
A
one.
white one, yeah. And also,
That kind of is like the Wendigo white. Is that a thing or like
I don't know. Abominable Snowman is the Yeti.
the Yeti?
and what's interesting about that is, okay, the Yeti, the abominable snowman, is white, but in snowy terrain.
Right.
Bigfoot is black or brown in wooded areas, dark areas. This creates a logistical thing where it's like it could be possibly easier to be seen.
Maybe he's just old Bigfoot.
Old foot.
His hair turns gray as he gets old.
Maybe
just
he's-
like a person.
Well, we
Maybe
heard
he's
about the juvenile one.
He's
so-
got all these qualities that a regular person has, which implies something.
Maybe he's just all boogered up and he's got albinism.
You know, I would like to research. I grew up thinking that when did Bigfoot shift in opinion from a singular creature to a species of being?
I think it goes back to indigenous people because like every tribe has one in all different areas of the country. So I think that's kind of always been the thing.
Oh, it's always been.
It strikes
And
me
maybe
as a thing.
as
It's
a
probably-
kid,
yeah.
I would hear Bigfoot and be like Dracula, or it's like a singular creature.
This is probably even like an international phenomenon, right? Like, I don't know if you did any research on that, but like that seems like a thing that probably like every culture that lives near the forest has a story about
They do.
the big weirdo that lives in the forest.
Or little weirdos.
yeah,
lot of them have-
a whole gang of little weird elves, gnomes.
Yeah, little weirdos.
I think the orang pendek in some southeastern culture is like small in that way.
It's just oh my god! So they have a little guy Bigfoot, like the
Well-
little monkey, like the little devil monkey. So it's a weird thing that I've learned about myself in the course of this episode is that I could give a shit about regular Bigfoot. I don't want to find him. I'm not interested in him. He's probably not real. Little Bigfoot excites me.
Yeah, I'm interested in the prospect of a little foot.
Because again, as we've covered,
because
he's got a knife.
Well, I
I
feel
just like the fact that he's armed
got
with a
a-
knife.
He's,
Did he have
he's
a
got to.
knife?
He's a little guy.
Did the one in Gallenberg had a knife?
No, it was a joke.
Oh, okay.
It cracked
I was like,
Dude,
what?
everybody in
Did I miss
Gallenberg
that
has a
part?
knife. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no. So because the worst case scenario with little Bigfoot is that it's just a regular ape, which is still fun.
It's not a regular ape.
We just found a chimpanzee in the woods.
Like a chimpanzee.
Yeah,
No,
like
okay.
a regular
Like
ape.
a chimpanzee.
I
Over
would
in,
be-
like
yeah.
a chimpanzee over in Chilhowie or something.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
awesome.
chim-
That's a great story.
To
still.
me, personally, that would be scarier than seeing a Bigfoot. I am terrified of fucking chimpanzees. If I were to ever come within a football field of one, there's not like a barrier between us, I would be terrified.
Well, they'll rip your dick off. And
they
that's-
will tear you apart.
That's not a joke.
They will. For some reason, they go for the dick.
They go for those. They go for those extremities.
That's not why it's scary. That's one of the reasons why it's scary, but not the only one.
Okay, so back to the story. Most informants, and there were many, agreed that he suddenly appeared soon after the close of the Civil War in around 1868, 1869. The area where he was most often seen was near a knob said to have been near the old Jonesboro Road, not far from Abingdon.
Those were just Confederate morphine addicts.
I was gonna say, are they implying that he was a veteran? Like,
Several years ago, a man brought me a picture of this mountain where this monster appeared. That man died before I could have him point out to me specifically to where in that picture he was referring.
that's awful convenient, bud.
Also, it's a picture. Just look long enough.
No, I think when I first read this story, I think I thought what you were thinking. What he's saying is, I guess it was a wide shot photo, and he didn't know the exact knob.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Where
said
the
got a
lo-
picture
yeah.
of Bigfoot, got a picture of the Woodbooger, and it's like, where's Walter? find the Woodbooger in this picture.
Just a panoramic scene. You see the Bigfoot? That remains a mystery to me to this day. Perhaps some of the readers seeing the picture included in this article can be of help. I don't have the picture. It seems that the reign of terror began when residents began to find partially eaten livestock on their farms. Goats seem to have been a favorite prey. Then, after these incidents, sightings began to occur. A man plowing his field at the base of the aforementioned mountain saw one of his goats fleeing as if running for his life. Indeed, he was. A second look revealed that a human-like creature with arms almost as long as his body was reaching for the frightened goat. Once caught...
No. So that just calls into question everything because you see, the kind of goats that we have around here are Tennessee fainting goats. And that goat would have taken about 3 steps and then just
died of a heart
just
attack.
paralyzed, rolled over on its back.
Once caught, the goat was tucked under his arm and carried off into the woods at the edge of the field. I love that. It's like a troll.
Goat snatcher. We love it. Yeah.
Like a fucking Scandinavian troll folklore. Just carried off my goats under its arm.
Woodbooger's got the hunger.
That was my prize goat.
Then there's a tale of an old lady who lived alone at the foot of this mountain.
That's a witch.
Absolutely.
Calling it right now.
Yeah.
One of my informants called her Aunt Molly.
Definitely
Aunt
a witch.
Wait, is this the
Aunt Molly Mucklebones.
legend? Yes.
One night, there was a disturbance in her chicken house. She grabbed a light and a rifle and headed to it. Instead of the expected coon or snake, she was confronted by a large monster emerging from the door carrying several chickens.
Sorry. So good.
I mean, if you're gonna break into the coop, take you a few so you
so you don't have to come back.
get you a clutch of chickens.
Get you a bucket.
She just fainted away and fell onto the path leading from her door to the chicken coop. When she came to, the monster was gone. That next day, she picked up and moved to the home of a son. Damn, so that fucking thing scared her straight into moving in with her son. I bet he loved that.
So
And this guy and her son's like a total skeptic. He's like, so
a man
you're
stole your
moving
chickens.
in with me because a Bigfoot stole your chickens.
a regular man,
regular
came out of
guy.
your chicken coop.
Now, is this-
with chickens?
Is this the? Okay, keep going. I won't get ahead of you.
So she moves in with the son. One moonlit night, this is another story. One moonlit night, a couple was moving along in a single horse-drawn buggy. The horse became startled, and the couple was frightened to see the form of the big white monster in the bushes beside the road. It attacked the horse. The couple jumped from the buggy and fled back down the road. The husband gathered up well-armed neighbors and went back to the site. Dude, I fucking love a mob.
A posse.
Yeah.
Love to round up a posse.
The
dead-
well-regulated militia.
The dead horse lay near the overturned buggy. A great deal of flesh of its neck had been eaten by the monster.
Buggy. Now,
I
when
bet
is
that
this
shit
happening?
is so stringy. It can't be good.
We're back on food.
What, horse necks?
Just horse flesh. Much more of the horse had been torn into shreds. Big tracks of the monster were found in a cornfield nearby. Many of the stalks had been stripped of the ears of corn, and there was evidence the corn had been eaten, shucks and all. A little later, a farmer viewed the monster stripping fruit from his trees. What really brought things to a fevered pitch was when a young man, returning from the war in very poor health, that's code for morphine addiction, died after lingering on for several years. He was buried at his own request at the top of the mountain where he had often hunted. This was the same mountain considered to be the territory of the Bigfoot. A day or two after the burial, his father took tools to erect a fence around his son's grave. He found that the body of his son had been dug up and most of the flesh had been stripped from the bones.
Damn, he's a Bigfoot's scavenger.
You got to take him where you got to take it where you can get it.
I mean, even that implying that he eats people is pretty heavy. Because, I don't know if that's a thing that we've established in the past, right?
Again, I mean, those stories for sure exist in everywhere there's Bigfoot stories, but ours seems real violent. Again,
He's a real jagweed.
Yeah. Early in this, you said like peaceful creatures.
yeah.
That must have been the
Gentle wise man of the forest.
ones in the Northwest where
Yeah.
weed is more prevalent.
Several well-armed men gathered again. Several well-armed men gathered and combed the mountain for days. They could never find the monster. Some thought he lived in a cave that may have had a hidden entrance. Okay. Where'd you come up with that, Columbo?
Well, we couldn't find them.
There's got to be a hidden entrance somewhere.
Yeah.
The late Martha Jane Hart told me her grandfather, Jacob S. Carmack, was one of the men that went to hunt for the Bigfoot. Dude, I love that story got passed down. And he's probably got like the gun that he took on the big Bigfoot hunt over his mantle.
It's a family relic.
Yeah.
That's
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah,
is
not
cool.
long after this, a violent storm went through the area, felling great trees. After that storm, the Bigfoot was never seen again. Several years after that, hunters found a huge human-like skeleton pinned under a chestnut tree that had been felled by that storm.
Shit.
You're really writing checks here that you can't cache.
We're
Where's
implying-
that skeleton?
I'm sorry, but the implication of this is startling, which is that Woodbooger is just fucking dead.
We solved
We
it.
solved the mystery. Woodbooger died in a storm.
Yeah.
That's a bummer, man. Unless he's a ghost.
Perhaps nature had done what man could not do. If this area has ever had another Bigfoot, I have heard nothing of it. Article by Bud Phillips. Bristol Hair Courier.
That's actually a pretty cool ending. Props to Bud Phillips, wherever he is.
Bud, if you're listening.
He was cool. He'd be on the news all the time. He just knew everything about around here. He had kind of a bad wig, though. He was one of those bad rug guys. So
that one woman. Okay, so what I was going to ask, where is the lady who was just like, oh yeah, Bigfoots are here all the time. I feed them. There's a whole family of them.
oh yeah, I have heard that.
Where's that lady?
I don't know.
I thought, is she not local?
Where did I see that on?
Yeah, it was like nothing to her. She's like, yeah, there's a whole
That
family
might have
of 'em.
been like a Finding Bigfoot or something, Monster Quest or something.
Yeah.
I have definitely heard that story where like, yeah, they come here, they hang out.
Yeah.
We play cards.
They watch TV. They
Sort of
like
a-
reality TV.
That's like some Weekly World News shit. That's like Bigfoot stole my wife. Like that kind of like level of reportage.
Yeah. This woman was like, she claimed that they were there all the time. But
We play
cards.
What card game do you think Bigfoot likes?
Couldn't have been complicated. Blackjack.
Anyway,
Who knows?
Go fish. I don't know.
war. Bigfoot's just playing war with old women in the woods.
So, Woodbooger.
Yeah. so the
Where do we
Woodbooger.
land? Final thoughts, Viv.
Okay, so I think that there's all kinds of stuff in the woods around here. I think we live in a weird place. I think most of that stuff is bears and drunks and I don't know, like big raccoons. But I don't know. I have there's a mysterious fox spirit that lives in the woods next to my house.
Sure does, dude.
and so
Speak on that fox for just a second.
Yeah.
yeah.
just tell us
Would
about
you like?
the- tell us about the
yeah.
fox.
So I live in a haunted mansion beside an enchanted grove, and in the grove there's a small fox, a small red fox who seems to have been a baby fox for like 2 years now, who screams like a woman late at night, who occasionally leaves me offerings. I once found the paw of a raccoon on my doorstep, where it moldered for months because I don't, it would have been a lot of work to pick that up, and also it's pretty gross.
You put that under your pillow, you're going to get rich.
If I put that under my pillow, I'm gonna get ants. But yeah, so I believe there are things in these woods that we don't know. I think it is safe to say that Woodbooger is dead, based on the story I heard.
Oh, one gnarly note about that fox. The time that you came home, there was just a cat's arm in your driveway.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh.
The raccoon. There was a
it a
raccoon. I
raccoon
think it
or
was
was
a
it a
raccoon
cat?
arm. Could have been a cat's arm. I don't know. I didn't get a good whiff, so I can't say for certain.
Could you have been able to tell
Oh,
the difference if you had gotten a good whiff?
Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to, bud. Nat, what is your conclusion on the Woodbooger then?
I want to believe, I have my rational thinking brain that tells me that all sightings are chalked up to, just not seeing something correct or like misseeing something. That's not the word.
being just good old fashioned drunk.
Yeah, good old fashioned drunk or just being scared. Fear can fuck you up.
Shit does happen, as they say.
Yeah. But I love to just set that part of me aside and then just blindly go head on into the Woodboogers out there. And I'm going to be the one to find them.
Well, not the Woodbooger specifically, because he died.
Well, yeah, okay. Well,
That is a subject of debate. I
so so that was in the 90s, our sighting in Bristol.
That would no, in Bristol.
Oh, no,
that
the
was like,
Bud Phillips story was way back.
that was like immediately post Civil War.
G. Berg's was in the 90s,
90s, yeah.
and that's the most recent.
Oh no, I'm sure there are other ones on the on the BFRO as we call it in the field.
Well, I'm gonna look into that. I'm hitting that site as soon as we're done.
But yeah, all right.
So that was the Woodbooger. That was the Woodbooger Festival.
Yeah,
The Woodbooger Grill.
The most important,
which by the way sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious, and we're cracking wise, but I'm sure it's a wonderful establishment.
If you're in Norton, go there and check it out. Have a Woodburger. I don't remember
Do the
what
challenge.
It's called. Yeah,
Do the challenge.
Yeah.
And get back to us.
Yeah, let us know if the food, if it's any good, or if you see any woodboogers or ghouls.
Yeah,
or trolls,
devil monkeys.
devil monkeys.
yeah. So thanks for joining us on this adventure, and we hope to make this sort of a weekly endeavor. My sources for this episode were, as I said, the BFRO.net. Go check it out. Go noodle around in some of the local encounters.
Yeah, wherever you're at, check out your local sightings.
Yeah, they're fun to read. Then we had the Bud Phillips article from the Bristol Herald Courier in August of 2013. Before that, we read from Sasquatch in the Mountains, a tale older than the mountains. That's a terrible title. Sasquatch in the Mountains, a tale older than the mountains. I hate that.
A little redundant.
From Appalachian Magazine, February 2020. Check out norton.gov, nortonva.gov. And check out the Bigfoot Festival.
The Norton Board of Tourism welcomes you.
Yeah.
We're going to get, as of this recording, we don't have any kind of social media presence. We're going to get all that set up. We'll get an email address for anybody to write in comments or concerns. Keep your concerns to yourself. Just send in questions.
Check us out on OnlyFans.
Just tell us we're doing good, and if we're not, don't email us.
Yeah, all that information will be available on a later episode. When you do hear this, it will be on Apple Podcasts. So one thing that you could do to give us a hand if you liked what you heard is definitely drop us a review. Drop us a 5-star review or fuck off.
Now we'll take the 1 stars too. I love a good 1-star review. Don't just drop a 1-star review. I want a 1-star review and a paragraph of what we did wrong
and why we should be canceled.
And yeah, why
there's a bottom in every podcast, huh?
So that's going to do it for us here at the Mystery Hole Podcast. I'm Lane Blevins.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Viv.
And we'll see you next time.